I'm Michael Morris. Sitting with me, my good buddy Lou Willard. Lou, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Lou, you introduce the name of your two companies in case we have new listeners because that's all we're talking about today. And I'm going to tell you why after you tell our listeners those two company names.
My home inspection company is Premier Property Inspections, and my home warranty company is Home Service Plan of Ohio, or HSP.
So I'm in a meeting yesterday, 7:30 in the morning. Some realtors there, title people. And I think I know what you're going to say about this, but we're talking about this show, and some of them want to come on, and they said, that home inspection business, I don't really see the value in it.
Yeah.
And I said, have you been listening at all to the show, or have you talked to your neighbors when we had that rain that came a few weeks ago, and everybody was putting their soaked couch out for trash because they did not have a proper home inspection or a warranty on the property?
Yeah.
Let's break it down piece by piece, though. Let's talk about the home inspection. We've kind of touched on it with other realtors in here. My favorite is when they look at you and go, oh, yeah, we're big on home inspections. It's like when we stop the show, we say, well, who do you use? What? Because they don't really push for that. We're not picking on anybody.
Yeah, well, the market is so hot and competitive right now that a lot of stuff is being countered out, and the more attractive you can make your offer to a seller, the better chance you have of buying the houses. It really is that simple. So you're seeing people waive request a remedy, and some of them are going as far as waiving a home inspection, which is just, it can be a disaster. At least if you waive the request a remedy, you get your inspection so you at least know what's wrong.
Right.
But can you imagine buying a property without having it inspected? You have no idea if the furnace works. You'll know if the air works now because it's summer. You have no idea if the furnace works. You have no idea if you have insulation in your attic, which your house yesterday did not. And it was a flip. No insulation in the attic. None. You have no idea if the roof is good. There's so much you don't know. Is the electrical outdated? Is it safe? Is it wired properly? You have no idea.
And you also, depends on the day you see it, right? So if you go on a very sunny day, everything's fine. If it's been 90 degrees for a week, you go there on a Sunday and it's raining, you got that drip down your chimney, all of a sudden you got a water leak somewhere.
Or you go in the basement and it's wet.
Right.
Because the sump pump doesn't work. Or it's just getting wet through the foundation wall because of negative grading, disconnected down. There's just so much stuff that can be wrong. I cringe every single time I hear somebody say they waived the home inspection. And the agents make them sign a form, which they should, because that keeps them out of trouble.
Right.
Because it's going to go bad. We see it on a weekly basis with our warranty company. People will call in, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Oh, by the way, it's Monday, we moved in last Friday. So it's all pre-existing stuff, so the warranty companies don't cover it because it's pre-existing. Warranty companies are here to fix what breaks, not what was broken.
Right.
And and that's a big sticking point on it. And if the buyer is waiving the home warranty and waiving a home inspection, no one's told them this stuff because once they waive it, the agent doesn't need to go over it with them anyway.
Right.
So,
but you know what's funny about that is when you go to buy a phone, let's say buy an iPhone. Do you want the insurance? It's $200. People will jump on that, realizing that home inspection isn't much more expensive than that, but it will protect you down the line. You may still buy that house, but there's still, at least you should know ahead of time where you have some areas of concern.
Absolutely, and it's like, as you know, the law is finally coming around in Ohio where the home inspectors have to be licensed by November 4th, which is, you kind of get grandfathered in like we will. We have all the stuff. We just have to send it down there and they give you your license number and away you go. But it'll get rid of the bad inspectors. It'll get rid of the people who aren't serious. There's companies who might have 10 home inspectors. Only one or two of them are certified and everybody's working under that certification number. All of that stuff is going away. So that should make the consumer more confident in the industry. They're forcing you to have passed a national test within the last 2 years, which you should have done anyway.
Right.
You should take it probably once every 2 years anyway, just because everything keeps updating. And as you do your continuing education, you should just take the test just to stay current on the test. But all of that stuff should make the consumers want to get a home inspection because they know now they're dealing with qualified guys.
Right.
We're doing one tomorrow, for example. They have a previous one, didn't like how it went. Well, their buddy did it. And not necessarily a home inspector, but he knows houses. He did it. Went completely bad, they lost a house, didn't end up not buying it, so they're getting another one. Now they want to ask their real estate agent, who should we use? And he automatically sends them to us, so we're going to take care of it tomorrow. But you can just avoid that step because the cost is, like I said, our cost is only $275 to $325, and that all depends on if you get a discount or not, which we obviously always give discounts. So you're not spending a great deal of money, but it's like you said, they go get a phone. You want the insurance? Absolutely, in case my cover cracks.
Yeah.
But that is say it's $1,000 phone. You're buying a $200,000 house,
right,
and you don't want to spend $275 to see what's wrong with it.
But why do people? Because again, when I was buying a house, it wasn't even mentioned, right? So the real estate agent didn't mention it.
Yeah.
What they mentioned was what a great deal this house was, what a great neighborhood, and not having a home inspection. When I talk about that leak that's coming down the chimney, that's a house that 20 years later still has a leak coming down the chimney when it rains, right?
Yeah.
There's no resolution to that because you're going to bring a handyman in or you're going to bring somebody that comes to remodel. They can't find the leak because they're not working on it when it's raining.
Yeah.
Had I had a home inspection, it would have been a completely different deal.
Yeah.
You find out that the furnace is dying, that the air conditioning is weak.
And you get the ages of that stuff.
Right.
We get asked constantly, how do I know how old my furnace is or my AC is? And we'll tell the people, send the serial number. If it's not written right on there, say 8/2012, it'll be in there with a 08, then two other numbers, or if it's a brand where it's the second two digits, the 08 will be the second two digits. But that's how you tell, but people don't know. They don't know how to put the furnaces in, or where the furnaces go, or the filters go, or which way to place them.
Which way to place them is one of the most important things. But homeowners think they can just do it.
They just gonna throw it in there,
yeah.
But you gotta have it installed correctly, and that's all stuff that we go over through home inspection. So if they want to waive the request to remedy, listen, that doesn't affect me, neither here nor there. If they waive their home inspection, it doesn't affect us. It's going to affect them.
Right.
Where we are is we can come in there and let them know what they're buying. Because if you buy a lemon and it's a house, there is no just getting out of it like you can get out of a car.
Right.
I mean, it is a big deal.
When you're going into a house, again, I would say you've seen thousands of houses that you've walked through.
Absolutely.
When you use somebody that's your friend that quote unquote knows houses, they're not trained to look for specific things. Like, can you give an example? My biggest thing that I always ask you about is always the basement, especially when it's an unfinished basement with concrete, because I'm always thinking of water getting through those walls. But when you are walking through a house, where's the part that you start, and that's the most important piece of it, or is there one?
It's not necessarily one. You don't. It's all important. You have what's most expensive, and that's where you start to get to the basement. Because water intrusion issues could be $500, it could be $15,000. It all depends on what's wrong. Whether you got to go chipping up floors, putting in sump pumps. Because what a lot of people don't understand, you just don't put the sump pump in to do it right. You have to chip the floor up and run piping to catch the water to drain it to the sump pump.
Right.
So they don't think about that. They think, well, I can just put a sump pump in. It's going to be $200 to go buy it and put it in. Well, no, you got to do a whole lot more work besides that.
Well, especially since people aren't as handy as they used to be. If you were
Absolutely.
somebody that was a plumber that bought this house, you can forego a lot of those things. I'll take care of it. But today, if 34% of those buyers are not handymen, let's just say, I'm just counting the younger group that don't seem to know how to do much other than on their phone.
Play Fortnite.
Yeah, you can't, and that's not to pick on all you young buyers. Keep buying those houses. But when you are looking at it and you're saying, oh, we'll take care of it later, it's not, I'll take care of it, I'll hire somebody.
Oh, yeah, we hear that all the time.
But you have to know the price of what that remodeling, that is a remodeling project. That's not a thing you do on a weekend.
See, and like we'll always discuss what it's going to take to get the issue corrected, but we'll never give them a price. And the reason we don't is because we're not doing the work.
Right.
Some inspectors will give them a price. Premier just won't, because I don't know. I don't know who you're going to hire. I don't know once they start what's going to go wrong. So all you're going to do, if you're doing that, it's a fine line. It's a fine line because it could go sideways quick on the price.
Well, you've also, that's why you have those reports that get generated. Like, I didn't know. I made you sit down and walk me through it because the way I'd always envisioned it was some guys making notes in the legal pad and giving you a piece of paper, and that's not how it works.
No, not at all. Now, when we started 15 years ago, we used to use 3-part carbons. But then, technology came around and
Right.
we went to a laptop, and now it's an iPad.
Well, you did it on your phone. Like we were
Yeah.
just having
One of
lunch,
my
just
guys
hanging
uses
out.
his iPhone.
Yeah.
And then myself and my other guy, we use iPads just because my phone's always going off. I can never get through a report just
Right.
using my phone.
Right.
But I don't do many anymore. My guys do them all. But you see what I'm saying? It's a process that people need to understand. It's so important. Like, because most of the people we generally don't know a lot about, they're not handy. They're like, well, I can have somebody fix that, but they don't know exactly who to call.
Right.
So, like,
Well, also to your point, they do not know the severity of the issue. So if it's a
Absolutely.
furnace issue, and they say I can get one, my favorite are the people that like to get scratch and dent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get a discount because I can do that. Do you know where the water is coming from? Do you know how to hook it up? Do you have someone that can do that?
yeah.
It's not the transportation of the item. It is installing it properly and making sure those gas lines or water lines or everything is running correctly and put together.
Yeah, one of the things, like, if your friend is just doing your inspection, does your friend know that the CSST lines need to be grounded or bonded? I should say grounded or bonded, either or. But do they know that? If they don't, then, well, you're missing something significant now, because they're requiring those lines to be bonded.
Right.
That's it. And they're just going to overlook that kind of stuff. Do they know about the Federal Pacific electrical panels? They're bad. They're notorious for being bad. Zensco, Federal Pacific, all those older panels. Do they know that, or are they just going to look at it and go, everything looks like it's wired up right? But do they know the history of the breakers not tripping when they're supposed to, overheating and catching fire? That's all stuff, because you don't want to choose a home inspector that's out there doing it as a hobby.
Right.
Put it like that. We do it full time. A lot of guys do it full time, and you want to make sure a guy's qualified. And it's easy to do now in the state of Ohio because there's all the regulations now. They go into effect November 1st. But in the meantime, you can go over the regulations and ask them, how many do you have of this or that? Because they gave a list of 3 mandatory things, which was background checks and stuff like that. But then they gave another list of 8. You just have to have 3 of them. Well, I have 7 of the 8, because 2 of them are, well, one is, have you owned a home inspection company for 3 years? And then the other is, have you been employed for 3 years by a home inspection company?
I'd say those
well,
first two are the most important part, though.
Yeah, well, I can't have both of them, so I got the ownership part. So I only have 7 of the 8.
Right.
But I can't have the 8th one.
Right.
Now my guys will have 8 out of 8. Under the you only need 3 category, and it's because we don't want to just meet the criteria. We want to have all of the criteria. There's a difference there. So it's going to regulate the industry. It's going to be really nice. So the state actually had their first meeting today, or having their first meeting today. So it's going to be good.
But it's going to weed out a lot of the guys who
Finally.
just got in. Well, here's what's amazing about the industry. As home sales have exploded again, so about every 10 years we have to have this massive explosion in home sales. You're getting these people that I can do this, I can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're getting into home inspections because they're thinking, if what was the total? It was like 68 homes a week or something are being sold in Columbus, some weird number.
Some crazy number.
If
yeah.
I can just get half of those, let's say at $400, you start to look at it and like, that's an easy way to make money.
Well, you're getting guys that want to jump into business because, again, they think they know houses. They have no idea the program that you should use to do the home inspection. We still see something that's written down.
Oh, handwritten?
Handwritten. Why, if I hired you to do a home inspection in 2019 and you showed up and started handwriting it, I'm just going to relieve you of the services right then and there. Because how is it not electronic nowadays? So you got to get up to date. But guys want to get in it because they think they know houses. They think, well, I can make my own schedule. They think, well, I can charge $500, and if I just do 3 a week, it's not that easy.
We got a lot of people sidelining and doing it. I've got a regular job. I'll get there at 6 o'clock. It does give a bad taste in your mouth when you're in that industry. It's kind of like a real estate agent that only sells a couple homes a month. If you're not in the game all the time, you don't know what's happening. You don't know the
have
market
to stay in
that's
it. And where the part-time inspector, where the consumer is, there's deadlines for everything when you purchase in a house. So if they have to get a hold of you to ask you a follow-up question before they submit their request to remedy, they don't have time to be waiting until 5 or 6 o'clock when you get off of work.
Right.
It needs to be pretty much immediate. And, that's why we have office staff. If they call me and I don't pick up, they call right into the office and Adele helps them out. Or they call Tim or Mike, who actually did the inspection. And we always get back to them within the hour. Or we'll text them and say, I'm at a home inspection. Text me your question, and I can probably respond to it really quickly like that. But because you can't be at an inspection, as far as we're concerned, answering 8 phone calls.
Right.
Because if you're answering 8 calls while you're doing my inspection, are you really doing my inspection?
Yeah, you're not paying attention to what you're doing anyway.
Yeah, so that's why we put Adele in the office to handle all that stuff for us. But it needs to be immediate responses, because you get an inspection period, and then there's a remedy period. Those are 2 different things that some buyers don't even know, and they're in contract. The agents tell them, but it still runs together in their mind. So the agents do a great job of telling them. But like if you have 7 days for your home inspection, but then you have a 4-day remedy period, that means after the 7 days, the 4 days start. People think you just have 11, or the 4 is included in the 7. Yeah, and it's just not. So if you get your inspection done sooner, submit the request of the remedy, your 4 days start before your 7 would have even been up.
Right.
It's typically the way it works. So, but it's interesting because it is crazy busy right now. Crazy.
You
busy.
said you did over 100 again this month. So
we did over 100 in July. We were fortunate enough to do over 100.
And what's amazing is you can't get to everybody, but 100 is a lot for your staff of people, which is not just a couple people, but to be able to service that many homes and have to do it that quickly because the market is so hot.
Yeah.
It's got to be taxing for you guys.
Oh, it's crazy. I'll be in Dayton tomorrow because somebody forgot to order it, and then the timeline is up, and my guys are already booked. So to Dayton I go, to help them out. But it is what it is.
Home of the Dayton Dragons. Enjoy that. Let's flip this over because I want to talk about home warranty.
Yes.
Explain the difference. So the same person could use you for both ends, right?
Absolutely, and it's a benefit to use us too. Because a home warranty is not homeowners insurance. That's what people have to understand. It's not homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance will take care of if you write it in. It's a rider, but flooding, but it has to be written in, or under standard policy it won't cover it. But it'll take care of your roof, your exterior gutters, that kind of stuff, rain damage, hail damage. That's stuff that homeowners insurance cover. Home warranties doesn't touch that stuff. We'll cover your furnace, your AC unit, your electrical panel, your water heater, plumbing leaks, stuff like that. Your appliances if they come with the house. Because we get called about heavy rains. My gutter fell off. Well, you need to call your homeowners insurance. We work with a home insurance company who gets calls, my furnace went out, so he'll send them over to us if they have our policy. Right. They just don't know who to call, so we try to educate them on that, because it is confusing. It's a fine line between the two.
Well, you see more commercials about Aaron Rodgers' house is on fire, and then the most confusing one is Chris Paul's kitchen catches on fire.
Yeah.
That's your home warranty and your home insurance.
Yeah.
They're not telling you the part that oven that came with that house should be covered by the home warranty.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the insurance takes care of the fire damage. But we explain it to people, and our guys at the insurance place explain it to people, and it works out for the most part. But the benefit, if you use our company, number one, we'll give you a discount if you have our home warranty in place.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, because the big misconception or the big problem in the industry is this home inspector did it. Something goes wrong, this warranty company comes in and says, oh, he should have caught it, because their contractor's telling them that, because they don't want to cover it. That's just the cold-hearted truth. They don't want to cover it. So then they're calling the inspector and they're going, no, it was not like this when we were there. And then all this bickering back and forth, you still have a client in the middle whose stuff is still broken.
Right.
So if you use our company being Premier Property Inspections and you move in the house and something goes wrong, and you call HSP, we're not going to go, he should have caught it. Now, they'll let me know if we missed it, because we're always trying to educate ourselves. So we pride ourselves on not missing anything. So you're never going to get the runaround. You're going to get your stuff fixed.
Right.
And then if it is something that we missed, the contractor will call me directly and say, Lou, this is something you guys should have caught. Well, what was it? Okay, what went wrong? And then I'll talk to the inspector. Why did we miss it? What was going on? Did you have too many that day? Was your schedule too far? Did you rush it?
Were you taking 8 phone calls while you were inspecting
the
house?
What's going on because you weren't focused? Because we do enough training that you shouldn't miss stuff. We do a ton of training. So that's the biggest benefit. You're not going to get caught up running around arguing back and forth between a warranty company and a home inspector while your furnace is not working in January.
But isn't it a bonus to have, you've got that inspection report, and I think, what is it, 70 pages or something?
They average anywhere from 45 to 65 pages because of the pictures. The pictures stretch it out.
But you've got that report,
Yeah.
and then if you have the warranty, like, you know everything that's covered, you know you're not going to two different places. It almost makes sense to do them both at the same time.
Yeah, well, you just put the warranty on place and we'll do the home inspection. And I tell everybody, the home inspection report that we give you is like the manual you get when you buy your car. It
But
is the
finish what you
story.
always say about it. You always say, I give you the manual, and then what do you say? They throw it in the drawer.
You got to read it.
You gotta read it.
I at least tell them, if you're not going to read it, keep it.
Right.
That way, when you do need it, it's there. But we also tell people the biggest thing, if you use Premier and HSP, it all comes back to me. So you're going to get your problem taken care of, because you're not calling that company and this company and that company. It's all, whether you call Premier or HSP with the issue, it's going to eventually funnel up to me. It's a one stopping point right there, or my wife if it's HSP, because she runs that company.
You better hope you get Lou. You don't want to get Mindy.
Yeah, y'all better hope y'all get me. You know, no, she does a great job. They actually want her. They're very patient. They're nice. You know, not that I'm not nice. I'm nice, but the bottom line is the companies are locally owned and operated. We care about the people. I've been out in places and, oh, you did my inspection 2 years ago, and I'm like, how's the house? Because you never know. And then like 2 years ago, I'm like, man, how's the house?
That's a very baited question. You inspected my house, and you are hoping it's good, but you feel that little nervous.
Well, you just never know, because we're there for 3 hours, and they're there for 2 years. Right. What could have went wrong that they thought I should have caught in a 3 hour period 2 years ago? And then, you know, luckily it's like, oh, it's great. You know, we're gonna use you on the next one. I'm like, phew.
Do you have people that are converting? They're doing the inspection and going to the warranty company, or is it kind of the warranty company's running it itself separately?
They're two totally separate companies.
Right, but I'm saying, if I had you out, is it one of those things where you're telling people like, "Hey, we do this too," or is it run completely separate where they're finding you because they're hearing you on the radio?
Typically when they write their contract, the warranty company goes in at that point in time before they even get a hold of us.
Got it.
Now, they'll ask us some questions, and my guys are trained. I've trained them all to say, well, do you have a warranty in place? Because if you do, then, you know, you can go this route. If you don't, well, our owner actually owns a warranty company. Feel free to call them and they can put one on the house for you. Because we don't want to step on an agent's toes who may not be using HSP. Right. So we never want to go, well, you could have just used our warranty right out of the gate.
Well, that's got to be awkward. Because
it is very,
you want the home inspection.
Touchy.
Yeah, because when you're running two different things, you don't want it. They might have somebody they use for that, kind of like a title guy.
Yeah.
Everybody that comes on this show that's a realtor has a title guy and like a lending person. You don't want to say, "Oh, well, I do that too."
Yeah.
You really
you don't want to step on a real estate agent's toes. So we let the client bring that conversation. Then we'll just go, "Well, do you have a warranty on the house?" If they say, "I don't know," we still don't tell them that we own one. We'll just tell them, "Well, your agent can let you know that. Just reach out to your agent, see if it's in your contract."
Right.
If not, they'll direct you to one. We still never tell them. But if they say no, and they know they don't, then we'll tell them that we have one. So, because, like I say, some agents love Premier, but they don't use HSP because they have somebody they've been working with. Some use HSP and don't use Premier. And that's fine. I mean, I wish everybody used both.
Right.
But I'm grateful for the business that we get.
I did cut you off, and I want people to get this answer. I cut you off when I said, what's the most important thing? And you said there's not one most important thing. But if we're going into fall, what's the number one thing you look for? Is it the roof? Is it the foundation?
Well, yeah, you're going to be coming into the fall. I mean, you're going to start looking at gutters and making sure they're clean, because if not, you're going to get the water's going to back up and it's going to rot out the fascia boards, or it's going to leak back in up under the shingles and get down inside the walls. And again, when that happens, it can mess up your grading when all the leaves start to fall. You want to keep the water out of the house unless it's in pipes.
Got it.
That's the biggest thing as you go in the fall. And I would advise everybody to have their furnace service. Go ahead and have it serviced now, so you don't wait 2 or 3 weeks when you call them in November. Just do it now, and it'll be good for then as well.
How can they get a hold of both companies, Lou?
And I know the number.
I feel nervous asking, but I knew you'd be prepared today.
No, Home Service Plan of Ohio, HSP, is 614-626-3984, and Premier Property Inspections is 614-271-0661.
All right, buddy. Thank you for all that today.
Absolutely.
And
Thanks
you'll
for
be
having
back
me.
anyway next week, but I thought it was important we cover both of those things this week, so we kept the realtors out. But we're going to have somebody next week. You've been listening to Prime Properties, and we will see you next weekend.